What's up, Brooks?
B-Dub, man, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
It's been way too long,
It
man. It's
has
like
been.
I know it's been way too long.
But yeah, how have things been? I know we briefly kind of caught up before this, but if you want to let
It's
everyone
been
else know.
it's been good. Been happy. Some people may know that are watching. I'm going to cover the World Cup in a week, so I'm going
Look
down
at
to Mexico.
look at him.
So don't send the shooters at me, but yeah, hopefully we'll be all fine. But it should be fun, man. It should be
Yeah,
fun.
that'll be
What
good.
you've been going all right? That's always the first question I always ask you is how you doing, Baron?
I'm good. I'm good. Graduated, trying to find a job, all that fun stuff.
Can't say that word on here. The ow, that really
Oh,
hurt
I'm
my ears.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh,
But yeah, looking for employment. We'll get a
J slur.
Yeah, we'll do
There
that.
you
But
go. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that's tough.
yeah, just trying to start the next chapter in life, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to still cover football. We've had a lot happen recently that
Oh
obviously
yeah.
we want to talk about. So first, let's jump right into it.
Welcome to the greatest podcast on earth. Nothing agreed. We have a great show for you tonight, so stay tuned and buckle up.
Yo 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode. Nothing agreed. Back with the boys today. Baron, our hiatus is over. We're
Yes,
no
sir.
longer slacking. It is time. Football, OTAs, getting in there, trades, drama, the whole 9 yards.
Mhm.
I feel like I already asked my question.
That's right.
So
Well, let me ask you a question. Um,
whoa.
I got one for you. Football related, of course. Your Falcons just extending Drake London to a massive extension. How do we feel about that? Big, big,
Um,
big receiver money right there.
big receiver money, almost 100 million guaranteed, 140, 4-year deal. He's making, I think, I don't. Is he the most? I don't think he's the most expensive receiver, but I think he's up there in top three now.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's deserved just because of how contracts move. If
Right.
you're like top 15, you're going to get top three money. I think he is top 10, top 15. I just hope they can get the ball a little bit more. But I think he does play like that. And so I'm happy with the extension.
Good. Yeah.
Just
Good
need
for
to get in the
him.
ball a little more. Yeah, just need to get in the ball a little more.
Do we have any insight from you on who will be throwing him the ball week one?
I think it's going to be Penix. Um, okay, I just need to preface this. All right, and I'm going to say this before the season starts. I'm
All
going to
right.
say this before anything. If the Falcons win 7 games this year, I think that's a good season.
Okay. I mean, the defense should be good. Obviously, Jalen Walker's coming back. If that's the
James
right one.
Pierce is
James Pierce. That's
innocent.
who I meant.
He's
Yeah.
innocent. He did nothing wrong. Um,
I don't know about that, but
did you see that? God, we really go on some weird tangents here.
I know.
That freaking Rakea Jackson dropped the restraining order.
Yeah, NFL sent out their best lawyers, best hitters. I mean, 11 and a half sacks as a rookie. You ain't
Well,
going to prison, brother.
no, that's different. You can have a restraining order, right?
That's true,
But
yeah.
you playing league. She dropped the restraining order. That means she wanted to see him. I mean, what the
Again,
hell?
11 and a half sacks. She knows he's about to get that bag.
I mean, Jesus. She know that WNBA money don't compare,
Yeah,
bro.
that shit don't go as far, bro. But yeah, quick little Falcons catch up. Obviously, if you're paying attention to the NFL landscape, there's been some big transactions that occurred a couple of days ago. Obviously, one of those is very personal, but I think we're going to wait and talk
I
about
think
the one that happened first. We'll talk about that one first.
we can open up with that one right
It
there.
is, yeah, and that was the Cleveland Browns and the Los Angeles Rams negotiating on a deal that sends Myles Garrett to Los Angeles in return for Jared Verse, a first, a second, and a third round pick. Now, it was also reported earlier today, just to put a make sure we got all the details. That third round pick can turn
Yeah.
into a first round pick. So it could potentially be Jared Verse, two firsts and a second.
But do you know
So
why it can turn into a first round pick?
I think it's about. I didn't see the specific parameters, but I would assume it's playing time.
Not even close.
Oh, okay.
That third round pick turns into a first round pick if Miles Garrett is traded to an AFC North team that is not the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, okay. So that will stay a
So it
third
will
round
not
pick.
turn into
So
a
that will
first
stay a
round
third round pick.
pick. Yeah.
I don't know why we're reporting that. That's stupid. But yeah. So first, second, third, and Jared Verse. What are your initial reactions to that, Brooks?
Here was my first initial reaction was in PG terms, WTF. Because I didn't expect Miles Garrett to get shipped like that. I expected 2 first-round picks. I think a first, second, third is near the same kind of level playing field. Because you get 2 picks, that second and third. Not, of course, a first, but still some good talent in the end. Jared Verse going. At first, I was surprised by that, and now I'm like, it makes sense because of the whole parameters, the trade. Baron, I mean, I got to ask you this. I want to flip it quickly over.
That's fine.
Are the Rams not the favorites to win the Super Bowl now after this?
I mean, they should be.
And they are in the betting circles, in the betting books. They are not just a favorite. They are the favorite. They are not just a little bit of a favorite. They are I would say in terms of preseason odds, a heavy favorite. They are what I saw plus 600. I think last year the odds were, I think the Bills and the Rams were tied to win the Super Bowl with the first odds at plus 950 last year.
Mm-hmm.
So plus 600 is a big significant jump. And the next team I think is plus 1,000. So they have a little bit of a lead going into the preseason favorites. Do you think that's correct, or do you think they're maybe overpricing the Rams a little bit too much?
I mean, they should. You just have Matthew Stafford, who came off an MVP season. You just traded for Myles Garrett, who just broke the sack record and won Defensive Player of the Year. I think a lot of people kind of forget just because this happened more recently, but they also traded for Trent McDuffie earlier in this offseason to booster up their secondary. And, yeah, they're going to have Puka Nacua coming back, Devontae Adams. That O-line is still good for the most part. Kyron Williams is a serviceable running back, and we know that defense will be good. The only question I have for this Rams team is age going to catch up to them? Obviously, Matthew Stafford is approaching his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know when that sort of decline will start. Probably not for a couple more seasons. We've seen guys like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers be able to extend that sort of traditional QB life cycle in the NFL. So we'll see if Matthew Stafford can do the same. My biggest question is for Devontae Adams. He's a bit old receiver. It kind of looks like he's losing it. Not completely, but it doesn't look like he's not improving every season. He's definitely going down and down. We have to see what Puka Nacua looks like this season. Obviously, he had a very eventful offseason that was not football related.
Mm-hmm.
We won't even get into all of his stuff. So defensively, I think this is one of the best defenses in the league, top to bottom. Obviously, you have a very dominant defensive line, and you go out and add the best defensive player in the league to it. One of your weaknesses defensively was your secondary. You go out and get a top corner as well. I mean, they're definitely going all in for the Super Bowl run. Matthew Stafford, like you said, has an extension for about 2 more seasons, and that'll probably be the end of their window. But, and you said this when we were talking about it the other day, why did they draft Ty Simpson? They had a first-round pick, the 13th overall pick, and a lot of people thought they were going to take receiver to help bolster that room with Puka Nacua's being kind of up in the air with everything, Devontae Adams getting old. So, and they didn't go that. They wanted to start looking for the future. So that does seem a little odd, but this definitely puts them ahead of every other team, I think.
Yeah, even after that trade, I'm scratching my head even more at the Ty Simpson pick. I mean, I look at the Ty Simpson pick, and we have our podcast for that, and I did not like the pick. Of course, I had Mekhi Lemon going out to the Los Angeles Rams at 13, and then I see them pick Ty Simpson. It's like, okay, what are you trying to do here? Okay, you're trying to see, Matthew Stafford probably has 1 more year, okay, or maybe 2 more years, and then you have your quarterback of the future.
And they extended him after the fact.
Yeah, but now you've got that Matthew Stafford extension. Now you've got Myles Garrett trade where you get rid of even more picks, which then kills a rebuild. You just need to kind of shove all the chips in and go with somebody that's going to help you win games now. And Ty Simpson can't be on the field unless Matthew Stafford gets hurt, which I'm not going to say I want that to be the case because I don't want anybody to get hurt. So he's not gonna affect the game whatsoever. So it's a pointless pick. just in the grand scheme of things, Baron.
Yeah. Again, that pick is kind of the head scratcher here. But going back to the Rams for this upcoming season, I think it's going to be health and Father Time that are going to be the biggest opponents. Obviously, they're in the same division with the reigning Super Bowl champs, so we'll see how those matchups go. And I would probably argue the NFC is probably a little more top heavy than the AFC this year. So we'll see how they compete. But let's swing it to the other side. Obviously, the Browns were involved with this trade as well. And I think a lot of people saw this trade, a lot of casuals saw this trade and said, what the fuck are the Browns doing? Why are you getting rid of a generational player? Why are you doing this? It's pretty simple. They're not going to win anything this year. They're not going to win anything next year. They probably won't win anything in the following year. Myles Garrett is 32. He's again one of the greatest defensive players this game's ever seen, but
Agreed.
if the trend goes as it should, he's not going to have that many years left. So
Correct.
you trade him for a first round pick next year, which is the holy grail of all drafts apparently. Granted, that first round pick probably won't be it would probably be pretty high up, but if you're smart, you can use that as leverage to trade up, trade for a player, all of the in between. It's more assets to have in the back pocket. And I remember we were talking about this too. I think if you're Cleveland, you're really happy you get Jared Verse back in this trade. This is a guy who didn't have a great season last year, but you look back at his rookie season, one of the probably really explosive defensive players in the last couple of seasons, at least for his rookie season. And there's just a lot of untapped potential there to be had. Now he's hungry. Now he's angry. I don't know if you saw, but I just saw before we went on the air that he was at a press conference and he was like really sad that he was even leaving LA. So there's definitely a fire lit under him. He's be up for an extension soon. I think that's a good young player to have if you're Cleveland when you're clearly trying to rebuild. You look around the rest of their defense, specifically their defensive line and linebackers. Those are all young guys. You look at the draft last year and who they added. So I think he'll fit along nice with this sort of young defense that Cleveland is going for, and I think this is kind of a scenario where I think both teams kind of win in this trade. The Rams get a game changer to win now as they compete for a Super Bowl, and Cleveland gets a young, really promising player and assets to help with this rebuild.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think if you wanted to maybe put a little knock on Cleveland, they probably could have gotten a little more. I think they might have been able to get at least maybe two second-round picks. But like you said, I'm sure they were fine with that conventional third. That doesn't make any sense. But
I mean, it's a third, and it's one of those
third.
thirds where like there's no way they're going to disagree to that.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can automatically start in. It's not going to change anything. I wish they made that third round pick. I wish they made the second round pick that and the third round pick a conventional playing time, which could turn into a second. I think that's something they could have leveraged better.
Mm-hmm.
But dang it, Baron, you literally took my talking point that I was going to say is everyone is like, hey, this is the Rams bought all in. Yes, the Rams did win this trade. But everything, and you know how I feel about being mid in football, and the Browns are not mid, they're lower than mid, is that when you have talent on your team and you're not going to win with it, go build something else. If you're not building up with that talent and you're stuck, you need to go back down. And the only way to go back down is back up. And I think there's a quote that I'm going to use, and it's like, I'm a big fan of soccer. My team won the league this year. First time in 22 years. First time I've been alive.
Congratulations.
Arsenal. Thank you. You know how much that means to me.
Mm-hmm.
The owner of the team said to his dad, who was the main owner, but his son, who now kind of leads the team, said, in order for us to get where we want, we have to maybe take a step back to go two forward, right? The one step back, two step forward approach. And I think that's exactly what the Browns did here. Yeah. You have Myles Garrett, who is arguably maybe one of the best defensive players we've seen play football. One of the best, at least in our eyes, when we've been alive, just watching live. Just broke the sack record coming off the best year of all time by a defensive end. His value is high. He's 32. How much does he have left to play? Trade him to a team that's all in. And as well, you get the holy grail of drafts. So a first-round pick to me is a solid pick in that draft because you're looking at talent. Baron, I've already started looking at draft because I cannot wait for next year's episode when we do a mock draft. If you're looking at talent in that draft, you look at talent mid-round this year, is probably going to fall like a late round next year, at least from what everything's projected. So
Yeah.
I think the first round pick is good. You get Jared Verse, who's a young guy, and then you get those second and thirds as well, which builds even more young talent.
Yep.
Big thing for me here as well. Bounce back to the Rams. That defense, man. That defense is something. And I was like, they lost Jared Verse, right? It's a big loss, a premium edge rusher. Well, you mentioned it. They didn't have he didn't have the best of years. Byron Young came off the other edge, Baron. He had 12 sacks last year.
Yeah.
He had 12 sacks last year compared to Jared Verse 7.5. You have Kobe Turner who comes down the middle. Kobe Turner come down the middle at a nose tackle, 7 sacks last year. Braden Fisk, had 3 sacks last year. I mean, you have a good, even like kind of run stopper in Poona Ford, who is going to, I think, change the number 97 from number 95, who can clog up the lanes. Baron, Aaron Donald is thinking about coming back out of retirement, and they just released a defensive tackle. And if Aaron Donald comes back from defensive retirement, I think we're talking about, not yet, we can't say it, but maybe the greatest defensive line going into a season next year. You have a guy who had 22 last year, 12, 7, a very good run stopper, and Aaron freaking Donald. Like, is that not the greatest defensive line we may have ever seen? So, and they got Trent McDuffie. They solidified that corner position, which we criticized so heavily after the game against Seattle in the conference championship. F them picks, as they say. And I think you're right. I think this is a scary defense we're going to see next year.
The next question is, what does this say if this doesn't work out? We're just going to go hypothetical, right? Mm-hmm. What does that say kind of about this sort of roster building strategy? Because we've seen it work. Obviously, when the Rams went all in back in 2020, kind of not to this degree, but went out, got really good, got Matthew Stafford, got receivers for him, and just really, gave up all their picks. I think, to me, I don't like this form of roster construction. I think it's very chance-based, and once it's over, I mean, I think the Rams are going to be stuck in purgatory for a few years when it's all said and done after this window closes, so we'll see how it goes, but they're definitely unloading for right now.
Yeah. You look at the season the Rams have had the last couple of years. Of course, after the Super Bowl, they went all in. Matthew Stafford was that big buy they went for. I also saw a funny stat, just to jump in. The last 2 picks that the Los Angeles Rams made in the first round, Jared Goff and Ty Simpson. And that's a big gap in between. So, I mean, you and I have both been like, I cannot wait to see our rookie first rounder play. The Rams have never had one since Jared Goff, because no one's looking forward to Ty Simpson playing if you're a Rams fan right now. So it's Jared Goff, which is like 10 years ago almost.
Yeah. It was 10 years ago, actually.
Literally, yeah. Wow, we're old. Okay. The Rams, since then, they went 5-12 the next year, and that was an injury-derailed season. I mean, their best player was probably Cam Akers. Tyler Higbee. Remember that was the game Baker Mayfield came back from his vengeance. He led a drive against the Raiders on Thursday Night Football. I mean, that was a year. Then they went, I think, 10-7, 10-7, 12-5. They've been in the playoffs ever since then. It's worked. I mean, if you're making the playoffs, and I want to say making the playoffs, I mean, they're challenging in the playoffs too. You're not going to win the Super Bowl every year, but they're challenging. So I think it's kind of successful in a way. It's working. But I think now this is kind of the end-all be-all, because you look at that roster, other than Puka, I mean, you just got rid of your young Trent McDuffie. You just got rid of your young edge rusher.
Right.
There's not really a whole lot of young talent where you're like, it's jumping out of the page. I was
going to say, they did technically draft Jared Verse in the first round. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe that wasn't their own pick then. So,
well, it was traded away anyway. But it doesn't matter anymore. But that's where they're at. So, I mean, Les Snead has proven what?
It's a win-win trade.
I know. Oh, it is. And Les Snead's proven to be
a win-win trade.
One of the best GMs in football. So, obviously not with this Ty Simpson pick, but yeah. All right, are we gonna move on to the other one? Usually when there's an Eagles segment, as you guys know, I give Baron the floor. So Baron. Well, I think most of this is going to be you, because I don't think I can really speak on this unbiasedly.
Whoa.
But
because of the AJ Brown drama, at least.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna get into all that.
We will get into that.
Don't you worry. First, obviously, to no one's surprise, the trade that has been rumored since January has now taken place. We've reached the June 1st deadline, and A.J. Brown is now a Patriot. The Eagles, in return, got a first and a fifth. Not what I was kind of looking for, but apparently that was a steal for most people because I literally have something on my phone. It was like 5 days before. It's like Eagles fans are delusional if they think they're going to get a first-round pick for A.J. Brown because he's going to be 29, injured, drama, all that. Nope. You got a first-round pick. Ideally, I wish it was next year's as well. That did not also turn out to be the case. But, again, you give Howie Roseman an extra first-round pick. You don't even need – his track records for a while speaks for itself. That's a no-brainer. That's an asset for the Eagles. Now, we'll quickly talk about the two teams. Me, personally, I don't think this is going to affect the Eagles too much in terms of the roster. We'll just talk about offense because we know that defense is going to be good. Offensively, they have a very deep wide receiver room now, obviously with Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon being at the top of that. Hollywood Brown, can go in, give you some solid routes, some solid catches. Hopefully Dontavian Wicks can kind of take that next step and kind of be more of a true deep threat. He has some drop issues he needs to work on, so there's promise, there's hope. Obviously Sean Mannion coming in and implementing a brand new offensive scheme and system that, from what I've read, has been going flawlessly. Everyone seems to like it, buy in. Everyone's been at OTAs, which historically isn't the case. So it's nice to see that the offense is bought into learning this new offense and kind of getting back on track after you lose a guy like A.J. Brown. Obviously bringing back Goddard, draft Eli Stowers to kind of replenish that sort of big body receiving archetype. So I don't think it's – obviously if the offensive line stays healthy, this is a run-first team with Saquon Barkley. We see what they can do when they're playing at their best. 2,000-yard rushing season. So I think while, yes, on paper it looks like losing A.J. Brown is going to be really, really bad, I don't think it's going to be that way. This isn't an offensive identity that's going to be throwing the ball all of a sudden. This is going to be a run-first team still. And I think you still have a solid guy in Devontae Smith to throw the ball to when you need. Hopefully Mekhi Lemon pans out. He'll be more of a slot in the middle guy, so that'll be nice. And yeah, I think with how deep the wide receiver room is, I think it'll be okay. Now, I'll let you speak on that first before we go to the Patriots.
One question before I'm going to give you my full opinion. Baron, I don't think the Eagles really have a big body receiver now.
Well, they do. He's just not good.
And who would that be?
Johnny Wilson.
Yeah. They don't really have a big body receiver like that, which was a kind of a, I don't want to say a crutch, was a big part of their offense sometimes. A.J. Brown in the good years. I know last year maybe wasn't your favorite, especially with the route trees he was running. We heard all about your complaints.
Oh, we'll get into that. Don't worry.
Yeah. Here's my opinion on it. We talk about the Browns-Rams being a win-win. This is to me not a lose-lose. I don't think that is. I think this is kind of a null. And the way I say that is because I'm more of a fan of the Eagles side of this trade. And that's not in terms of winning football games, because I think this doesn't help you win football games by getting rid of A.J. Brown. But it's that the fact they got a first-round pick, Baron. I would not pay a first-round pick for A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown, to me, you mentioned what I was going to say. I think there's drama. I think there's issues. Diva. I think in a Patriots system, I'm wondering how he's going to work in the Patriots system. You give a guy like Drake May a receiver, that's good. But my thing is, I did a little research, and I was just checking when you were saying just a double confirm, and I was. Baron, there was, I think, 19 receivers who had over 1,000 yards receiving last year. A.J. Brown was one of them. But, of course, I'm going to have to – I think I had 1,003.
Yeah,
still
it was
count it.
Threshold.
Yeah,
yes.
Threshold 1,000. There was 2 receivers that had over 1,000 yards that were older or going to be the same age as A.J. Brown, and that was Cortland Sutton, who had 1,000, I think, 17, and Stephon Diggs, who had 1,010. So the big name wide receivers, I'm not thinking AJ Brown is going to get up to either. I just don't think he's going to be up to those standards.
Yeah.
As well as just a first rounder for a receiver who's 29. To me, it's a position where the legs go a little bit more than other positions. I think if AJ Brown is 31, 32, we're talking about, is he playing football? Really?
So, yeah.
I mean,
No,
that's what I'm thinking.
I do not think he will be in the league in 3 years.
I don't think he will either.
I
Or at
mean,
least I
this is
don't
a
think
guy.
he'll
He has
be up
he
there.
has injury concerns. I don't know if you saw this, but the Rams actually backed out of trade talks because they did not like his medical reports. There's apparently reason to worry.
And I do find worry.
And I think, and then obviously we'll get into the attitude here in a second, but yeah, I mean, he had a horrible season last year. Let's just say it how it is. He had plenty of opportunities to shine, be his big body self, and he just wasn't willing to compete. Yeah, he wasn't willing. He was actively trying to sabotage. We'll get into that in a second. But yes, looking to the Patriot sides of things, I don't think this is a needle mover. I still don't think they make the playoffs even after this trade. Because again, you have so many more holes I feel like you need to fill. And you said it just 3 seconds ago. Stephon Diggs was a Patriot last year. He had more yards than AJ Brown. So obviously the problem really isn't getting a big receiver. I don't feel like it's just making sure you have receivers. You go out. Patriots had Romeo Doubs signed. Obviously, I don't think he was ever expected to be a wide receiver one, but I mean, I feel like with Drake May, at least what he proved last year, he can definitely get him above 1,000 yards. Like, yes, will this help Drake May with his deep ball ability? Yes, because at his best, A.J. Brown is very good one-on-one. You kind of have to double him or bring a safety over top because that's what he is. He's a big guy. He has a giant catch radius. He has a giant vertical, so you can't really guard him one-on-one. So you can't just let Drake May lob it up deep to you. But again, this was a Patriots team that was embarrassed in the Super Bowl for many reasons, and I don't think wide receiver was a big one. And like you said, when you're a team that's trying to compete for a Super Bowl, I would much rather spend a first-round pick on an offensive lineman, on a defensive star, rather than a 29-year-old wide receiver, and especially one that comes with a lot of baggage. Now, we can get into how this exit happened. I don't know if you've been reading into these reports, Brooks, but since he was traded, there's a lot of stories, stuff that's come out about what's happened behind the scenes. You've had Philadelphia Eagles active and inactive players liking posts, making comments about how toxic he was. And yeah, so from my understanding, what happened is he was involved with this one girl, a massage therapist. And did you read what I sent you?
I did read what you sent me. I also listened to the Maria Taylor interview he had where he talked about his relationship with Jalen Hurts and how it deteriorated. I should say, what is with the NFL and massage therapist? You know,
I don't
it's
know.
a whole
But
thing.
it actually gets deeper than that too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two different reports and they kind of mesh together. So I'm gonna kind of do my best to mesh them together for you. And again, this is all speculation. There's not a confirmed anything. It's just I know people that said this. I have this source. So what happened is he was involved with a massage therapist, so was Hassan Reddick. This was back in 2022, the year we went to the Super Bowl and did not win. Yes. Yeah. That was apparently Jalen Hurts knew about it, did not want to tell A.J. Brown because that's not his business. And and A.J. Brown saw that as distrust, unloyalty, and that's kind of when this rift started. And obviously, that's also led to Hassan Reddick being traded after basically having no real reason to trade him. And that was kind of at the time a big mystery to a lot of us Eagles fans. So now we have some reason why. But the other story coincides with A.J. Brown's fiance or girlfriend at the time found out. She knew that he was cheating on her with this massage therapist and went to Jalen Hurts' girlfriend at the time to kind of see what's up. And again, as she should, she said, you don't have to put up with that. Leave him if he's cheating on you. Like, you can do so much better. And A.J. Brown found out, got mad at Jalen Hurts' wife for getting in their business. A.J. Brown's girlfriend or now wife also got mad because she felt like she was intruding in their business. And then A.J. Brown got mad at Jalen Hurts again for not kind of sticking up for him or going to his side and basically telling his wife to stay out of their business. And that lines up because, again, neither one of the couples went to each other's weddings. Apparently the wives don't like each other, so why would you be at each other's weddings? And yeah, so that's just the stories of how these rifts started. And then there's the new reports of he was actively sabotaging the 2024 season and last year, but more specifically the Super Bowl run. He was not giving his best, giving his all, and again, we still won in spite of him, because when you have a guy that rushes for 2,000 yards, 2,500 in the playoffs at Super Bowl, record setting by the way, you're gonna win a Super Bowl on the back of that defense as well. But yeah, coming to this season, 4-0, he's not happy with how things are going, so he's quietly requesting a trade, creating more drama, being a diva in the locker room, and it's just like, dude, you're a loser. You're a quitter. You're a loser. For lack of a better term, you're a bitch. Just like in every way possible. Because like, how are you going to be 4-0 coming off a Super Bowl win and requesting a trade? Like, just because. And there's another report too. And again, I don't know which one of these are real or whatever, but he was actively trying to sabotage this season so the front office would trade Jalen Hurts instead of him. And that's the one I believe the most because, again, you see him giving up on routes all the time this season. You see drops that are not characteristic. So just giving up on plays, not giving it your all and just trying to get a guy that you don't like off the team. It's not going to work. That's just a bitch mentality. You're not a team player. So this is what I've been telling people from what I've heard. You're not a good teammate. You're not a good friend. You're not a good husband. And yeah, that's about it. You're just not a good person. So I'm just happy that he's gone because, again, at the time, I don't know any of this is taking place. No one's reporting on this at the time. So all you see is his cryptic tweets and him just creating problems. And last year, there was a much bigger scapegoat to why the offense didn't look the way it did. So a lot of people kind of just focused on that. But yeah, I mean, after these kind of reports all came out, thanks for nothing, dude. Like, I mean, and this is literally what I tell people is, yes, the season was horrible, but what happens if he catches those 2 balls against San Francisco? I'm not saying we're going to go back to the Super Bowl or win it, but so it's just like, yeah, you're not a good dude. Fuck you. I hope you start crying in New England as well. And yeah, good riddance. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Just to address that Niners point, I think you still would have lost to the Seahawks.
I think we would have as well.
I think we would have lost to the Seahawks. That team was electric, man. Especially that game against the Niners. Remember, they blew them out like by 40 points or something like that, or 35.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I was like, I thought the Niners were going to cover. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I really care about character issues in terms of like I don't want toxic people on teams because it does ruin teams. So to me, it's like, again, I think this trade is a little more big of a win for Eagles fans and front office. You get a first-round pick, not in 27, in 2028. And I also find that a little interesting because maybe in 2028, A.J. Brown is becoming a shell of himself. And does that affect the Patriots offense? So they get better because Drake May's would be his 3rd year then, right? His 4th year. So, I was going
to say, the way I look at it, they just went to a Super Bowl. Obviously, you know how I feel about it. They had the 7th easiest regular season schedule of all time, or Super Bowl era all time. And then I would argue had the easiest 3 games to get to the Super Bowl in the playoffs of all time, circumstantially. So put those together, I think they had the easiest path to the Super Bowl teams ever had. And they got embarrassed on that stage. We all remember that game. So their schedule is going to be significantly harder this year. Obviously, they play the Seahawks week 1. I think they lose that game.
I was looking at, there was 3 schedules I wanted to talk about on this. And that was the Eagles schedule, which you would probably know like the back of your hand. That was the Patriots schedule. Oh, that was the Patriots schedule. And that was the Rams schedule. Because honestly, we're talking about these trades, how can maybe affect winning, losing. we don't really care too much about the Browns and their push for the playoffs. Of course, anything can happen in football, but they have the third lowest Super Bowl odds. They're in a little bit of a tough AFC North. We all know they're kind of still a rebuilding team, and they have some interesting spots.
We always say tough AFC North, and it always turns out to be shit.
I think it's still not a tough AFC North, but if you look at it, you still look at, hey, you're going against Joe Burrow, who can light you up in those two games. Hey, you're going
if he's healthy.
Yeah, you're going against Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, who, let's be honest, I think the Ravens are still going to be one of the people that are going to push for the playoffs very easily. And you're going against the Steelers, and the Steelers are just an interesting defensive. You're going to beat you. Well, we'll see how they look under Mike McCarthy
and Aaron Rodgers' retirement tour,
and the retirement tour. Maybe that's a boost. So let's look at this first. I want to look first at the Patriots schedule. And Baron, the Patriots won their division, which means they have a first place schedule. And in that first place schedule, I think they have a couple easy games, which are some layups from the AFC West, which I'll already mark as wins. And that's Vegas, that's New York. Those are some easy layup games. They played the Jets twice. They played Miami twice.
The thing about being in that division is you do get 4 free wins.
You get 4 free wins most likely. If you look at the out of division schedule.
I was going to say, I feel like the Jets might be, if the Jets rookies turn out like they should, or a lot of people are saying, then they might be I'm not saying they're going to win anything, but they might be a force to be reckoned with.
Baron,
watch out for Cade Klubnik.
Baron,
let me hear it.
Who do you think is the number one name you slandered the most last year on this podcast?
Cade Klubnik or Geno Smith?
Geno Smith. Who's going to lead? Who's going to lead the Jets?
Listen. Geno Smith will not be starting by week 6. Let's just get that out of the way. He's not going to.
Cade starts. He already has cinder blocks on his feet, so I mean, he's going to kill the NFL.
We'll see what happens, but they apparently they love Cade Klubnik in minicamp, so.
Baron, I look at this schedule. At Seattle, week 1.
Loss.
Pittsburgh at home.
I think they might be able to win that game.
I think they win that game.
I think they
at
do too.
Jacksonville on the road.
That'll be hard.
I think that might be a loss.
I think Jacksonville's defense.
I don't think Jacksonville is going to be as good as last year.
And their defense did not get any better. In fact, I think it got worse. But
it got worse.
But I think that's a hard game. Yeah.
At Buffalo.
Lose.
Vegas and New York at home.
Those are 2 wins.
To me, I put them at 3-3.
Although they lost to Vegas last year.
At Chicago.
Lose.
At Miami.
Win.
Here's my 5 interesting games right here, which I think decide their entire season.
Yeah.
You have Green Bay and Detroit at home.
I think they go 1-1.
Then you go to Los Angeles
to play the Chargers. I think they lose that.
Football.
I think they lose that.
I could see them losing that game.
I think they lose that.
And then you go play Kansas City with Mahomes now healthy in Arrowhead, which I think is also a Monday Night Football matchup.
They're going to lose that game.
They play Buffalo at home, and I think they can lose that game.
I think they lose that. I don't think they beat Buffalo once this season.
Baron, I think they win this game, but what does Justin Jefferson, Jawan Jennings, Jordan Addison, Kyler Murray give you in a primetime game? We shall see. I
was going to say, Kyler Murray. We'll talk about the Vikings here at the end, but I think Kyler Murray has a good chance to start and have a good chance to become a redemption season.
I think so too. You look at their last 3 games. They face the Jets. They face the Dolphins. Baron, they face the Denver Broncos, which the Denver Broncos lost 2 football games last season.
Yeah, they're going to lose to them.
We're really close. I look at the schedule. I'm going to say Seattle's a loss. I'll say Jacksonville's a loss. Both Buffalo games are a loss to me. That's already at 4 losses, if I'm not mistaken. Seattle, Jacksonville, Buffalo, Chicago.
5.
I think they split the Green Bay Detroit series.
6.
I think they lose to Los
7.
Angeles. They lose to Kansas City.
8.
Do they lose to Denver?
9. 8-9 season. That's losing. Yeah.
Now they can win 3 of those games, and then they have 6 losses, and they're 11-6, and they're probably going to get in a wild card position. I don't see them winning this division.
I don't either. I don't
I don't
either.
think they're doing the same thing they did last year.
And I think they're going to be fighting heavily because you look at the AFC West, right? The Broncos dominated that division last year. Like you said, they lost 2 games. Chiefs are going to be on the up and up. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is coming back healthy. Just signed Kenneth Walker. Trying to see what that dynamic backfield can do. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. We're not worried about that. Chargers too. I mean, that's a team that's they can sneak, they can mess around, they can be good, they can they can dick around and be bad. But yes, under the Jim Harbaugh regime, they've been very well coached and they've won the games that they should win. So that's another team that I don't feel great about. You look at the AFC South. Obviously, you look at the Texans and that defense. They didn't. They're not going to have to play them until the playoffs if they ever match up. But that's an interesting game. Jacksonville, like you said, we'll get a pretty early preview in that game. But I mean, their offense should still be pretty explosive. And we'll see what the Titans look like. We'll see what the Colts look like. The Colts are, I think, the biggest question mark in that division. If Daniel Jones can get them back to form, but yeah. And then you look at the AFC North. What if Joe Burrow has a resurgent season? What if the Bengals start competing this year with the Ravens? That's two. Only one of them's going to win the division. The other one's going to be a wild card. So I think it's be really hard for the Patriots to make the playoffs this year.
But I think there's 3 games in there where I can go, hey, I can drop those losses, and that's Jacksonville on the road. I think that can be the Chargers on the road. I think that's a game they can win too. And then I even look at I can maybe take one of those split series games with Green Bay, Detroit. Maybe they do the double over them. Maybe 2 of those games I can be like, hey, I can drop. And then now you're at 7 losses. Is 7 losses? I'm going to stick with my prediction that I said immediately after the Super Bowl. And that is the Patriots are my 7 seed this year. They're my 7 seed this year. I'm going to stick with it. I said it. I got to be a man of my word. I'm going to go with the 7 seed. They'll make it in the playoffs. There's just confidence that I'm losing. There's just a little bit of confidence.
I think they're right there on the fringe, like you said. But again, they have that Super Bowl exposed so many things about that team. And wide receiver was not one of the main problems. Offensive line, I like Travion Henderson. I do not think he will be a top 10 back this year, especially behind that line. It's going to be a very pass heavy. And yeah, what happens when A.J. Brown gives up on your team? So we'll see what happens.
The Philadelphia Eagles became the first team in the NFC East in like maybe 30 years, 25 years. 20 years. A little bit of exaggeration, maybe.
To repeat.
But to repeat as division champions. So they have a first place schedule. Baron, I look at this schedule, and I think the Eagles, as much as I do like to, in text, trash on your Eagles, I'm a little more humble when it comes to actually voicing it on the airwaves.
Yep.
I look at this schedule and I think this team can be 8-3 after 11 games, and that's not just saying hey, the Eagles are this good. I'm not trying to be mean, but the schedule, look at it. It's not anything special.
Mm-mm.
Washington at home, win. Tennessee on the road, win. Chicago on the road. I have that as a loss. I think you lose at Chicago, and then you lose versus Los Angeles at home.
See, I think we beat Los Angeles at home. If we played in LA, I would be right there with you. But since it's at the link,
if it's a prime time game,
it's not. It's 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock game. I don't know.
I think we win that game.
1 o'clock game for a West traveling team is a very tough one.
I think we win that game.
Maybe. I'm going to put it down as a loss.
That's fine.
Now you go to London, if I'm not mistaken. You play Jacksonville. I have that as a win. Even though Jacksonville is the Kings of England, I have that as a win.
The Eagles are the only team to never lose overseas.
Is that true?
Outside of the country, yeah.
That's 1-0, I'm guessing.
No, 2-0.
Brazil? Wait, you won in Brazil and you won where?
I think we played in London a while back.
Nick Foles probably let a win or some bullshit like that.
Yep. Hey, only team in the league.
There you go. Okay, I have them as 2-2, right? But then I'm gonna be honest with you. I see a 6 to 9 game winning streak, at least plausibly, on the cards. And that's Jacksonville and London. I just think you're the better team. You look at Carolina at home. You look at Dallas at home. I think those are 2 easy, not easy, but 2 wins. You look at Washington on the road. I still think that's a win on Sunday Night Football.
Should be.
The Giants at home. The Steelers at home. Cowboys on the road for Thanksgiving. Tough game, but I think you still win that one. Arizona is a horrible team you play on the road. Then you play Indianapolis at home. Then you play Seattle at home, which I could see that being a win too. You play Houston at home. And then your last 2 road games are the Niners on the road, which I would confidently pick y'all over them, and the Giants on the road. Baron, I don't think that's a tough schedule at all.
It's not. I think we're gonna win the division. I think it mainly just comes down to everyone's talking about the Cowboys and their additions. Again, their defense was horrid last year. Yes, they went and got Caleb Downs. Yes, they bolstered their defensive line. I'm not scared of this Dallas team. Like, not yet, at least. There's always in the back of my mind that Dak Prescott's 11 years in the league at this point. In the back of my mind, there's always that point. When does he start regressing? We might start seeing that. You look at the Giants, and that's kind of the next point I wanted to talk about overall. We don't know what's going on with the Giants right now. Obviously, we're not going to get into the political, internal, all of that, but apparently that's hasn't been great. But you look at their wide receiver room, and they just went out and signed 3 wide receivers the other day. Because there's some reports, Brooks, that Malik Neighbors may never play football again.
The knee issues are bad.
Yeah. And apparently surgery's been done. He's been in rehab, and he went out and played in a softball game. Did you see him run in that softball game?
Now, let me take this with
again.
A grain.
I have too, but
it's a celebrity softball game.
I do too.
Should
but
not
that
be pushing.
No, but that leg, it's not bending. The knee is not bending when he runs. It is a waddle to first base. And again, like you said, don't want to buy too much into that, but the very least, I would expect him to have somewhat of a normal running motion. But yeah, I mean, again, when the reports are out there and then you see stuff like that, it just kind of feeds into it. And then they go out and sign 3 wide receivers who haven't done anything since 2018. It's just kind of like, what are we doing? Look, I'm not scared of the Giants
Jay
at
is
all.
back home, baby.
Yeah, no, I'm not scared of the Giants one bit. Jackson Dart, I think he had a good rookie season. I think you're going to see that sophomore slump from him. And I've been on this train since the day he was drafted. Cam Scadaboo, great name. He's not going to be all of that like everyone thinks he's going to be. Defensively, I mean, Dexter Lawrence just got traded. Yippee. I'm just not – Abdul Carter doesn't – we're not going to get into that. Brian Burns is still Brian Burns, but like I'm not scared of this Giants team. And the Commanders are the Commanders. They're nothing.
Now, do you have another point you want to make?
I was just kind of say prayers up for Malik Neighbors. Hopefully we could see him return to the football field. That team needs him, but yeah, I mean, it's just I want to talk about that specifically. This last week, in terms of Malik Neighbors specific, when it starts with the reports he may never play football again, then you see the clips of him trying to run, and then the fact that the Giants are signing 3 receivers on one day, that's just not good when you look at it from the outside. And again, I'm not on the inside, I'm on the outside, but from where I stand, it does not look good for him.
I look at the last schedule I want to talk about, which is the Los Angeles Rams. Baron, what do you think their over-under and wins is now that Myles Garrett is on this team?
Probably 12.5.
I thought the same, but it's a coin flip on 11.5. Interesting, right? Well, I look again. The Rams are not a first-place team, Baron. Remember, they lost the division to the Seattle Seahawks. Mm-hmm. And yet I look at their schedule, and I'm like, there are some tough build games in here.
Yeah.
They play the Niners and the Giants at home.
When
they open up, they play the Niners. They play them in Australia. That's what it is.
They should win that game.
They play the Giants at home after that. I look at this 3-game stretch. At Denver, primetime. At Philly, like you said. We're disagreeing on that, but still. At Philly. Buffalo at home, which last time they played Buffalo at home, they lost. Arizona is a win. Raiders are a win. Chargers most likely a win. But then I go past the bye week on week 11, and I'm not saying these are losses. I'm just saying these are tough games.
Yeah.
Green Bay at home, Kansas City at home. I think Seattle on the road, Seattle at home. I will say the Niners on the road can maybe be something. Cowboys, I don't think will give them anything. But still, there's 6 games in here. 6 games in here where I'm like, this is where you really test if you are the Super Bowl favorites or not. I still like the over 11.5 there, though, but there's some tough games that are building there as well for a second place finished team. Yeah, I don't want to look at the Browns schedule because I don't know how much Jared Verse is going to flip that team upside down like Myles Garrett will.
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
think it'll be anything special immediately, but I think the Browns will be I think the Browns will be a playoff team in the next 5 years if everything. Well, no, I'm not saying that, but if the front office does the proper things and doesn't fuck it all up. But yeah, one last point I wanted to make before we kind of wrapped it up here is I wanted to take a deep dive at the NFC North. Obviously, today it was announced, but it was leaked a little while ago. Caleb Williams will be your new Madden cover athlete.
Ben Johnson with a big reaction to that.
Yeah. And he is now I think betting favorite to win MVP.
No way. I'm checking that right now.
Please do, because I saw that. It might have been an old post, but I saw that earlier today. But obviously the Madden Curse is the Madden Curse. It's only been defeated by 1 or 2 men. So we'll see how that affects the Bears. But
sorry, I don't interrupt you. Ninth.
Wow. Okay. So that must have been a really old post. What?
Guess who has better odds than him?
Just tell me.
Dak Prescott.
Okay. See, these people are stupid. Anyway. Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous.
He has the same odds as Matthew Stafford.
Prescott or Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams has the same odds as Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Dak Prescott has better odds than both.
That's insane. Okay. That's ridiculous. Anyway, but I think that division, I mean, it's always been super competitive, but I think this year especially. We'll take a look at the Bears. Obviously, you have Caleb Williams entering year 3, getting better and better each year. Now with Ben Johnson, he kind of looks like a different player. DJ Moore is gone. It is the Romo Dunze and Luther Burden show. Don't think anyone has a problem there. They have a really good running back tandem with Monangai and Swift. That line is good. You look at the defense. There's some things you wish that could be better, but they went out. They got Dylan Thieneman in the draft to bolster that that secondary. They have good linebackers. Defensive line's kind of a question mark, but there's still time to kind of improve that, make a trade, or if you just feel comfortable with your guys in camp, just kind of see how that all trickles out. But I mean, the Bears have a legitimate shot at winning that division. Now, let's move to the next team, the Packers. Jordan Love entering year 6? Maybe I think it's like year 3 as a starter. Obviously, you lose 2 of your receivers, but you're hoping that Matthew Golden can kind of make that year 2 leap. You still have, what's the one guy's name that they all love? The one receiver.
Wicks.
No, he's an Eagle now.
Reed.
Yeah, Jalen Reed. They're all still pretty high on him. Tucker Kraft is still there, coming back off that big injury. We'll see how he looks, but I think he'll still be reliable.
See who's in the backfield for the Green Bay Packers.
He's at OTAs. He will probably be on the field. But they have an electric smashing running back in Josh Jacobs. And maybe Christian Watson can finally piece it together. But you look at that defense specifically. Obviously, this is the unit that they have invested in the last couple of seasons a little more heavily. Micah Parsons will not be out there to start week 1, but he will probably come back at some point. Pair that with the rest of the guys you have in that defense. Oh wow, okay, that'll be a kind of stretch before then. Said But that's still a good defense. It's a good defensive unit. They have a chance at winning that division. Now we'll move over to the Lions. Obviously, you have some of the most explosive playmakers in the league. Jahmyr Gibbs is poised to reset the entire running back market. That's how good he is. He's running behind a good offensive line. Hopefully Jared Goff still has it for them. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, those are good receivers to have. You pair that with Sam Laporta, who I think will have a better year than he did last year. I think you'll see something a little more similar to the rookie year. The new offensive coordinator, we'll see how that kind of looks. The big question for me with the Lions is how does their defense look? Um, that's to me the question mark for that team. But we're just gonna have to kind of wait and see what the product looks like on field. Aiden Hutchinson, though, I think will be a top 3 edge rusher this year. I think he'll take that next step and really solidify himself as one of the league's best. So I think that is something promising for Lions fans to look at. And so there again, they also have a chance at winning that division. And last but not least, the Minnesota Vikings. We talked about them so much last year, and how, I mean, I've said it so many times. I think they are a quarterback away from being Super Bowl contenders. They have the offense, they have the offensive line, they have the receivers, they have the tight ends, they have the running game. You look at their defense; it's good. It's actually pretty good under Brian Flores. That he's one of the league's better defensive coordinators. So I don't think that defense is going to be bad for any reason. It's literally just what does their quarterback situation look like, and it's a classroom rivalry. If you ask one of the guys, the other one is happy to be a mentor, and that obviously being Kyler Murray, and JJ McCarthy seems to be a little pissed, but so we'll see how that quarterback camp goes, but I do think Kyler Murray will win the job, and I think you will see kind of a resurgence from him. You put him in a good roster like he had with Cliff Kingsbury back in that 2021 season with Arizona. I think you surround him with the right weapons, you give him the proper line, the proper coaching. I think he will be electrifying again. They have a chance of winning that division. So I kind of broke it all down as best I can. Brooks, what are your thoughts on the NFC North?
Let's dive deep into the NFC North. I don't want to say I'm going with a bold prediction here. It's not bold. I want to do bold predictions soon.
Okay.
So we can look back and laugh at them once we get them all wrong.
We'll do that next episode.
100%. I want to say no excuse, but of course there are many excuses. I don't see a world where the Bears should not win this division.
I do.
I don't see a world where the Bears should not be predicted to win the division, or at least the expectation is that they do not win the division inside their base, inside camp. Baron, I'm not that high on the Lions this year. I'm really not.
Okay.
And it's kind of weird. And I'm looking at it. Where the Lions were probably one of the more disappointing teams last year. They did not make the playoffs. They went 9-8. They're actually projected to do better this year, but I'm still a little concerned. And it's not even me losing David Montgomery. It's me concerned about the secondary of that team, the linebacker core of that team. Of course, Aiden Hutchinson's a very solid player, but is Aiden Hutchinson going to be that top 3 edge rusher like you're predicting? I do not know. Is Jared Goff going to pick it up, or is he going to slack off? That's my question. Is Sam Laporta going to come back, or is he going to have a dip in production like he did again this last year? You look at the schedule, they do play some tough games on the road. They play in a tough division where you could say, hey, they could go 2-4 in this division. They can go 3-3 in this division. And then you're really only giving them 4 losses out of conference. And you look at that schedule, Buffalo on the road. To me, that's a tough, really tough game right there. You got to play New England in London. It's a little bit of a tough game right there. I think even, call me crazy, I think even a game where it's like at Atlanta has given, you call me crazy, but I think an at Atlanta can be trouble for some teams sometimes. It's like there's some little pick games here where I'm like the Lions, I could see them go 9-8 again. I could see them go 9-8 again. I could see the Packers being a 9-8 team or a 10-7 team. I could see the Bears winning 10 games and winning the division. That's how I see it. I see this as the NFC North being the AFC North replicate of this being a division where it's like in those prime years of 2021, 22, and 22, where it's like the lowest team has 7 wins and it's 6 wins, maybe the Vikings 7 wins, but the highest team has 10 wins and that wins the division. I'm going to pick the Bears to win this division. I think the Bears are a really well-constructed football team to where I look at them and I go, Caleb Williams is their star. I don't see another player in the Bears and I go, that's a superstar. That's a superstar. They just jump out on the page to me. But they're just really well-constructed top down. Yeah. It's like solid, pretty good, solid, Ben Johnson at the helm. I think at least one of the best coaches in the NFL, one of the best offensive minds in the NFL.
Yep.
The Packers, to me, have always been in disarray a little bit the last 3 years. The Lions, to me, are in a little bit of a shuffle. The Vikings, to me, are still not good enough to make a lot of noise. So, overall, I'm going to take the Bears to win this division right now, but I need to do we can do a little deep dive as one of our premium subjects and actually get into the crux of things.
Yeah. Just kind of wrap it all up. I think, like you said, I think the Bears, there's things to be happy about. I think you have the best quarterback in the division in Caleb Williams. I think you have the best sort of receiver or just receiving core overall, I think, with Ben Johnson included, getting those guys open, scheming plays and all that. But again, I know this might sound childish, but I'm not going to sit here and say that the Madden Curse isn't a real thing. We'll have to see how Caleb Williams and the Bears deal with that. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, it is a real thing. There's only been 2 people to ever defy it, and those are the 2 people that we argue who's the greatest football player of all time. So we'll just have to see. I don't know if Caleb Williams is going to be in those conversations, but if he can get past this curse, then maybe he will be. But maybe it'll be a sign. But if
what do you mean by defy it? Do you mean like just in career in general, or do you mean like that season?
Oh, no, the following season.
Well, who was the cover of Madden 26 this year?
Saquon Barkley.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah.
So, again, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, probably the only 2 players to ever really beat that curse. But
that curse has done some devious things.
Oh, it has. So that is a factor in my prediction. I'm sorry if that sounds childish, but if we take that factor out of it, yes, I kind of would agree with you. I think this is the Bears' division to lose. I kind of like a Lions resurgence this year. I know I kind of alluded to it. Like I said, I think Aiden Hutchinson will kind of solidify himself as the best, or not the best, but one of the best edge rushers, pass rushers in the league. You mentioned the secondary. They still have Carlton Davis there. He is getting a little older, but I think they also have the best safety duo in the league. With Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. We'll see if maybe there's a trade for one of those guys from another team, but I think as long as you have those 2 guys as your last line of defense, I think you feel somewhat better about not being taken the top off of you. And like I also kind of said it, I don't think the Packers, you said it too, I think the Packers, I don't think their offense is enough. We have to see what Jordan Love kind of looks like without Sean Mannion. I know he wasn't the offensive coordinator, but the reports where he was a part of that sort of scheming, that play development, and like just preparation. And he's been there for all of Jordan Love's career, so we'll have to see how he looks without that. And again, I'm not sold on Matthew Golden kind of taking that next step, or any of their receivers, and Tucker Kraft coming off that big injury.
Bad injury. Yeah.
So I'm not sold on the Packers, especially when you don't have Michael Parsons for the first 9 games. I would not be surprised if the Vikings make some noise too. Like I said, we kind of talked about this all last season, how it just felt like they were a quarterback away. They had the defense, they had the running game when it worked, and they had the receivers to help. But it was J.J. McCarthy or Carson Wentz. So again, it's shit or ass. Which one do you want? So I think if Kyler Murray can come in and kind of get back to that 2021 form, if he has everything around him, again, this is all big what if, but if he can, I think that's a team that you don't want to see in that division as well. So for my bold prediction, I'm going to go the Lions for now. Again, Jahmyr Gibbs is playing for a contract year, trying to reset that whole running back market. We might see a second 2,000-yard rusher. Well, we don't know. Especially if he's going to be getting more touches this year. He's going to have more touches this year, more opportunities, so we'll see.
I think we'll have more touchdowns this year.
Yeah, that's it.
Or at least more short end touchdowns this year, because usually Knuckles would come in and kind of scoop those ones up. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's about it for this episode.
That is true. I will say next episode, we can maybe shoot that in a couple days. I'm thinking bold predictions that we can have, and also maybe some buys and sells of OTAs, maybe some win-losses as we have right now, and all the drama going down. Everything is changing up. June 1st is a very fun day in NFL. It really changes the scheming. So,
yep.
Other than that, Baron, do you have anything else to add?
That is it, Brooks.
Baron, Falcons are going to win 6 games this year. That'll be the episode of Nothing Agreed. Thank you so much for listening. What are your opinions on the trades between the Eagles and the Patriots and the Browns and the Rams? Other than that, let us know what you think about the Madden Curse in the comments below. Thank you so much for listening, and peace.